Bumpingtonville. I am your host, Bumpy Dimes, and it is an honor to spend some time with the great folks of Bumpingtonville this morning. So I was going to start the show talking a little basketball, but we're going to have to talk about something else. You see, I have been given a note that the great Nenoid Biggles has banned any conversation about basketball in Bumpingtonville for the next 6 weeks, effective immediately. Obviously, the incredibly wise Nenoid Biggles certainly has a very good reason for that. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but folks, you learn pretty quickly in Bumpingtonville that you should absolutely never, under any circumstances, question the decisions of our incredible leader, Nenoid Biggles. So we will not be talking basketball today, but instead, why don't we discuss the PLE from this past weekend? That, of course, is WWE Night of Champions. So when we come back, we will have some of the locals on to chat Night of Champions on Good Morning Bumpingtonville. So we will be right back. Welcome back to Good Morning Bumpingtonville. So let's go ahead and get this Night of Champions conversation started by bringing on Bud and his cat Chapel. Welcome to the show, Bud.
Well, unfortunately, my cat Chapel was a bit offended by you referring to him as my cat. He and I have an equal relationship, and I am not his owner. I am his friend. So Chapel won't be joining us. I will try to talk to him, and maybe next time he will. But anyhow, my thoughts on Night of Champions. Well, I can't say that I'm surprised much by the result of the WWE title match, or the United States title match. Oh, that Jonathan Cena sure is a wise one, I must say. On the other hand, Christopher Matthews Punk is not the brightest bulb, if you know what I mean. So it was no surprise to me to see Jonathan keep that belt with the W's on it. I do love that Jonathan Cena. What a nice young man he is. And speaking of not being the brightest bulbs, well, of course, that then leads me to Jacob Fatu. I think they say something about all gas and no brains. Well, I sure gotta say that fits him well. That boy doesn't even know how to speak properly. Have you ever heard him try to say, "Do you know what I mean?" It comes out nothing but gibberish. Not too bright indeed. I will say I was deeply moved by the incredible show of support Solo got from his buddies. They were there for him. And of course, Solo certainly didn't need any help, of course. But it was still so touching to see his friends support him. I am so happy that Solo now has that belt. It is nice to have a nice guy, and a well-dressed one, if I might just say so as well, as the United States champion. Solo just seems like such a good person. I can't really think of anything else to add, so I guess that's it. Thanks for having me on today, Mr. Dimes. Have a great day.
Okay, well, I certainly can say those are some interesting thoughts on the show. I do want to apologize to Chapel. I certainly did not mean to offend the little guy. I would love to have him on the show in the future. Let's go to our next guest. Harold, what are your thoughts on WWE Night of Champions?
This show sucked. It was absolutely terrible. All the matches were just la-di-da whatever. Thank God I had plenty of beer. It would be much better if they went back to having the King of the Ring be a one-night tournament again. They can do the Queen of the Ring in one night also, since the show is like 14 hours anyway. At least it feels like that. That Cody guy pissed me off by not wanting to put the crown on his head. That is quite disrespectful to previous King of the Ring winners, especially the great King Haku. I really hope King Haku comes back and takes the crown back from that ungrateful Cody guy. Isn't his dad like Arn Anderson or something? You would think he would have more respect for the crown. Now that I think about it, they should bring back the Four Horsemen. Ric Flair could have made this show way more entertaining. There was also the Queen match, but it sucked compared to the one with the big girls that had tables and all that crazy stuff. As far as I'm concerned, the only real Queen of the Ring will always be Miss Elizabeth. She is a very pretty lady, I must say. But this show was really crappy for sure. Actually, there was one thing I liked, and that was how Solo Sikoa's friends were there for him. What great friends they are. I'm not really a sentimental type guy, but that hit me in the feels a little. What great buddies Solo has. It was actually kind of beautiful, I must admit. But besides that, everything was total garbage. In fact, I'm sick of talking about it. I'm gonna go pour myself a drink.
Interesting thoughts for sure, Harold. You know, I may want to have a drink myself after the show. Well, our next guest is Lucy. Hi, Lucy. What are your thoughts on Night of Champions?
I think the show was slightly above average, I would say. But only slightly, ever so slightly, but slightly indeed. The girls, Ripley and Rodriguez, was loads of fun. A little barbaric, perhaps, but it was exciting to be certain. It was nice to see Sami Zayn win. He is one of my favourite wrestlers. I really don't like that Cross fellow. It just seems like he doesn't have the best of intentions, you know? I feel like he and the girl he was with are a bit shady, perhaps. I mean, I don't know them personally, but that was the vibe I was getting. I was pleased to see John Cena win. The guy he was fighting is always so mean. I don't like him, so I'm glad that John Cena won that. The other stuff was okay, but I have to admit I was quite thrown off by the establishment I viewed the show from. I mean, of course at this point I shouldn't be surprised, but this so-called restaurant did not even serve tater tots at all, as in they weren't even on the menu. No tots. Like, at all. But wouldn't you know it, of course they have fries. Stupid fries. I want tots, damn it. I'm sorry, Mr. Dimes. I just hate that people don't take tots seriously. They deserve to be respected. They are so much better than fries. Like, so much better. So I would have liked the show much better with tots than with stupid fries. I guess that's not really WWE's fault, but it might help if they would have some more commercials about tater tots, you know, to raise awareness. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Night of Champions. Have a nice day, everybody.
Thanks, Lucy. Thanks for both your thoughts on Night of Champions and Tater Tots. Now we go to our final guest, Mrs. B. Hello, Mrs. B. What are your thoughts on Night of Champions?
Well, dear, I think the most important thing to consider is that the boys and gals tried their very best. And they sure did. Such nice boys and girls. It looked like they were having a great time. I would love to have them over sometime, and I can bake them some warm, fresh cookies. Oh, I sure do love that Michael Cole. If I was about 20 years younger, I'll tell you what, he sure is a cutie. I do have to question a bit the morals of the young man that sits next to him. I'm sure he's a nice boy, but he sure does have some questionable opinions on some things. But boy, I sure did have a great time watching big-time wrestling this evening. I really do wish John Cena would stop acting up so much. He was always such a nice boy. Lately, he has been acting like such a brat. Maybe he just needs a good spanking to set him straight. I surely will not give up on young Johnny, though. He has such a big heart in him. In time, you'll see that. Sometimes a child can act up a bit, but when their heart is good, they'll always find their way home. Now that we have a king and queen of WWE, I sure hope they don't let the power get to their heads. The last thing we need is a couple spoiled brats that think they know everything, being dictators in WWE. After all, the WWE is supposed to be a democracy, and I sure hope it stays that way. Well, I guess I'm going to go take a nap, my dear. I hope we can chat again really soon.
Thank you, Mrs. B. I am glad you enjoyed Night of Champions. And of course, I would definitely love to have you on the show again really soon. Well, I gotta say, that was a really fun show. The great citizens of Bumpingtonville sure do love their wrestling. It's so exciting to be a part of such a passionate community. A community, by the way, that is led by the incredibly amazing and wonderful Ninoid Biggles. Well, that's all for today, folks. We hope that indeed you have had a good morning, Bumpingtonville, and have a good rest of your day as well. Until next time, Bumpingtonville, always try to be as good of a friend as Solo Sikoa's friends, because damn, he has some really good friends.